when you...
Hey Ma, do you know what burst my bubble?
What burst your bubble?
Critics. I have this screenplay that I've been developing with my psychiatrist. I think it's pretty good. It's based on my life experiences. It's about living with severe mental illness. And I shared it with some people at the support group I go to. One of the women really liked it, but one of the older women, about your age, was disturbed by it. She thought it was a cry for help. And she didn't understand what I was trying to do. My goal is to help people. My goal is to have people with similar experiences say, wow, I relate to this. I understand this.
Do you put a comedic spin on it?
I think the goal, initially, my psychiatrist suggested that I do a comedic approach to, mental illness, because, that really hasn't been done before. But
so make like a sitcom.
Yeah, like a sitcom like Seinfeld. And I wanted to develop other characters, get a glimpse into their world, and we all meet at a diner, and we kind of see their experiences with mental health. So I had other characters in mind when I started writing this. But as I started writing, it's not really comedic. I have, some jokes in there, but, it's expressing my frustrations and,
But see, I think what he was going for with the comedic spin is because the world is so stressful and difficult, people tend to gravitate to a lighter look at illness. Even if it is serious, they want to laugh.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes when he suggests the comedic spin to it, not making it all comedy, because obviously it's not all comedy.
Right.
But putting jokes in there about things that you've had to deal with, and then when you look back on it, when you're feeling better, you can laugh. So it gives people that have been through that experience the ability to say, it's not all doom and gloom, it's funny at times.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like adding jokes to it cheapens obviously I'm comedic. I have a good sense of humor. You would agree with that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But there are a lot of experiences that I've gone through that aren't funny.
No, they're not funny. However, when you look back and you think about it and you say, oh my goodness, I can't believe, ? And then you laugh at it.
Like thinking a celebrity like Taylor Swift knows who I am, or like Billy Joel is my biological father, and then that can be funny if you really, it's not funny because, sometimes I get lost in it and I think it's going to be like a save me delusion. But, if you really think about it, the grandiosity can be funny if you put a comedic perspective on it.
Right, I absolutely think that, and like say,
say you're like a coffee shop, and they're poking fun at you. Like, it doesn't even matter because Billy Joel is my biological father. Like, that could make people laugh, but then again, if you actually do that, are you poking fun at somebody who's delusional? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I see where you're going. It has a double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I see where you're going with that. However, I think with the help of maybe organizations and support groups to look at it and say, do a little comedy in it where it's appropriate, and where it's not, you leave the seriousness. Because that's the best, I think the best plays, the best movies, the best masterpieces have comedy and sadness. So there's that mix. It's kind of salty and sweet. It brings people in.
Like I said, my psychiatrist told me to start developing this screenplay as a comedy. But, as I started writing it, I started expressing my experiences with lack of independence. I started experiencing my experiences with delusions, and yeah.
But that's kind of been done before. I think what he's trying to look at, because you're young, you're in the field of, everything is video and computer and technology. I guess he's trying to get you recognized for your talents, and that people can see the struggles, and that you can pull a young audience in to see the struggles and still relate to maybe an older audience if it's got parts of it that that's very serious.
My psychiatrist actually even kind of liked my serious screenplay because, you know, very often when I make my YouTube videos, when I post on Twitter, I have like a professional wrestling-like character.
And
I guess I call my wrestling character Cell Waters. It's done to be attention-grabbing, sensational, kind of like Lady Gaga.
But that's not...
Kind of dressing up in ridiculous outfits.
Yeah. See, to me, that's not
real.
It's not real. It's not taken serious. It's a serious issue, but yet you can laugh at yourself. People like to laugh at themselves, even in the most horrible of times. People make jokes because that's a way of dealing with stress. So if you could find the combination of the two, I think that's gold. I really do. If you could find the combination and have somebody proofread it and tweak it, and you know, for appropriateness in a support group, I think that's gold. I really think you could make it, but you need a lot of different people with a lot of different things that happen. It can't just be you, otherwise it's an autobiography.
Well, one thing, I want to add other characters. I want to add other people with similar life experience.
And pick a scene where everybody gets together. Maybe it's a group meeting. So everybody.
No, like at a diner, like kind of like Seinfeld, like you know, we all have similar life experiences with mental illness, and then
maybe a hookah lounge,
and then we get together at a diner or a hookah lounge. I don't know.
Something different, something more modern.
But diners are modern.
Yes, but
and also. Don't poke fun at the mental illness, because I know there's a lot of comedies like Borat or Dumb and Dumber. Don't poke fun. You know, make it in good taste. Make the thing empowering to people with mental illness. Like, oh look, I struggle with a mental illness, but I can be a success, like high functioning. And you know, granted, I struggle with symptoms and it's difficult, but you know, this guy's taking his medication like me. This guy's struggling with symptoms, but he's successful. He's a comedy superstar, or whatever I become. You know what I mean?
All right. For example, take somebody that's claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an illness. You could do a scene where the person's in the diner or the hookah lounge and they're talking about their claustrophobic issues. And they say, well, it took me 2 hours to get to my room at the hotel because I don't like going in the elevator and all they have is an elevator. And I don't like to be in the elevator by myself. So they get off at a floor, they get back onto the floor. They get off at a floor, they get back onto the floor. I mean, that's funny.
It is.
I mean, the cameras are watching in a casino this person getting on the floor, getting off of the floor, getting on the floor. But I mean,
but in good taste.
But in good taste, people with mental illness can laugh at that because it's taking somebody with OCD so long to get out of their room because they got to wash the doorknob, then they got to wash the floor, then they got to wash their feet, But that's the if you can laugh at it, it brings down the level of pain that somebody with struggles deals with if they can laugh at it because other people have it and laugh at it.
Right. So like sometimes the doom and gloom. My screenplay was a lot of doom and gloom.
And you know what? People don't gravitate to doom and gloom. It's such a doom and gloom world.
It is.
That people want to find something so serious and such a struggle that there's the ability to laugh at it and smile and say, but look, you know, you've overcome that, and you can joke about that situation that was so serious at the time.
Right, and like maybe I can combine multimedia, like show people that are struggling with mental illness. Look at how therapeutic art and comedy can be. Because I went to another support group, and you know, they said laughter is actually really good for people.
So healthy.
Because if you're unable to laugh and you take it very seriously, you got to be able to laugh at it.
You're not releasing endorphins.
No.
Happy, you know.
So maybe I need to, you know, do a more comedic approach.
Because you are funny.
Yes.
You are funny, and you do laugh a lot, and you can make jokes a lot. And if you can make other people laugh, especially in that arena, in that world, where there's so much suffering and so much misunderstanding, you know, first and foremost, people do not understand. And if you can make people laugh with you and laugh not at the illness,
no, not at the illness,
but at the frustrating ridiculousness of the symptoms.
Yeah.
And you're laughing at the symptoms, not at the person. Yeah, I think that it has potential to go far, especially because you have that comedic sense of helping people find laughter within their pain.
And remember how I said, like, the older woman that was critical of it? I mean...
Talk to her! Talk to her.
You know, even though one of the women really liked it and one of the women was disturbed by it, you know, she reacted to it. She read the entire thing. It's like 50 pages. And she had a reaction. Sometimes if people are indifferent and have no reaction to what you wrote, like if she read it, it's like, oh, this is nice, and then forgot about it.
That was all seriousness. There was no comedy. There was no comedic.
No, there was comedy, but she was very serious like you. Sometimes when somebody your age, there are women your age that have comedy, but sometimes they read it and they're like.
Also,
they take it. She took it literally. She took it as a cry for help.
But also people. How can I say this? Also, people that have different experiences.
Right.
They might. It's their internal demons that might not be able at that moment.
Who knows?
At that moment, she might not be able to laugh at it. However, she might come back later and see the comedy.
Somebody said like. You know, they might not understand, like, my goal, my intention is to help people. My goal, my intention is to educate people about struggles people go through. So they might have just read it like, wow, this is a cry for help, without understanding that I'm trying to educate people as to what the symptoms people go through. They might not have you know, understood my goal with this.
For instance, there's a film that they made about John Nash, who suffers from schizophrenia, or suffered from, he passed actually recently, which is... there's a scene in the movie which is comedic, in A Beautiful Mind, is comedic, where he's teaching after his illness all came to a head, and he's teaching again, and one of his students comes up to him and asks him about the next class, and he sees somebody standing to the right of him, and now people with schizophrenia have hallucinations at times. And he says, and it's cute and it's comedic, because he looks at the student and he says, because he knows she's in his class, and he says, is somebody standing next to me? And she says, yes. So it's cute because it's funny that he puts humor in to one of his students to ask her, you know, about his reality. And it's done, and he does it in such a light, you know, cheerful kind of way, that he's accepted the things that come along with his illness, and he deals with them, and he laughs at them.
Speaking of A Beautiful Mind with the John Nash guy, somebody said my internet art is kind of like a rabbit hole of just never-ending material. And there's a scene in A Beautiful Mind where like the woman goes, and I guess his wife, I don't know who she was, she goes into her room and there's like posters everywhere.
Yeah.
And she gets a glimpse of this madness, and she's like, what have I gotten into? So I guess when people start viewing like there's thousands of videos, it's just like complete madness, and if you go into the rabbit hole, you're like, wow, like Andrew's kind of like A Beautiful Mind. He's kind of like John Nash.
What you have to realize is when somebody is on hyperdrive going one way and doesn't stop, that's not healthy. You have brought all of your informations. You do discuss it in groups, and you do discuss it with your doctors. In that situation, if you took that situation, it's still Hollywood.
No, of course it's Hollywood, but I'm sure some of it's based on true experience.
Right, and that can happen when somebody is in hyperdrive and they're not getting the help or taking the medicine. He wasn't taking his medicine, and that's why he got hyperdrived in his mind. So he learns how to put the stop sign up when it's just going down the rabbit hole.
Right.
So you have to realize that if you're not reaching and it becomes all obsessive about you and about just diarrhea of nothingness, then you have to realize it's time to stop. Let's let the critics look at it. And you take every bit of what everybody says, and that's what, you know, he ultimately ends up doing. He learns, and that's another thing, laughing at, you know...
Okay. So that is what it is.